All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. I update you on a lot of stuff, so it's only right that I update you as far as this whole COVID thing goes. Okay, now we started following the whole COVID thing and we were wondering as a collective, is this ever going to become mandatory? Some people were saying no, because it cannot be done legally, made mandatory, while others like myself were saying there will be ways that they can make it mandatory. For instance, if you work somewhere, your employers could, or in order to fly somewhere and enter into a country, that country you are going to might require it. Well, here is a update that I am taking from www.msn.com, and you can go and read this article for yourself. Washington, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, the state of California, New York City, hospitals and nursing homes, colleges and universities, employers are putting COVID-19 vaccine mandates into place, and it's getting a lot of attention. On Tuesday, President Joe Biden said a requirement is under consideration for all federal employees. But what happens if those federal employees refuse? Federal legal guidance out this week suggests the law is on the side of the employers, not the employees, and the vaccination can be considered a condition of employment akin to a qualification. So in other words, akin to a qualification is just like saying 4 years of school is required, 4 years of college is required for this position, and a bachelor's degree is required. Also, a jab or a vaccination is required for this job. That said, employment lawyers believe that many businesses will want to meet hesitant workers halfway. Can employers require a COVID vaccine? That's the real question. Listen up. Can employers require a COVID vaccine or a coronavirus vaccine? The answer to that question is yes, they can. Private companies and government agencies can require their employees to get vaccinated as a condition of working there. Individuals retain the right to refuse, but they have no ironclad right to legal protection. So you can refuse, but they can also get rid of you if you refuse. Those who have a disability or a sincerely held religious belief may be entitled to a reasonable accommodation under civil rights laws, so long as providing that accommodation does not constitute an undue hardship to the employer. If that disability or that religious belief turns out to be some kind of difficulty or undue hardship to your employer, they don't have to stand by you with this. This is what Sharon Perley Masling, an employment lawyer who leads the COVID-19 task force at Morgan Lewis, said. Now, employees who don't meet such criteria may need to go on leave or seek different opportunities, she added. You heard what I said? Employees who don't meet such criteria, they may need to go on leave or seek different opportunities. What does that tell you? If your job is telling you to take leave and go seek different opportunities because you refuse to take that jab, that tells you that you're being let go, essentially, correct? Okay. The U.S. Justice Department addressed the rights of employers and workers in a legal opinion this week. It tackled an argument that's raised by some vaccine skeptics that the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act prohibits employers from requiring vaccination with shots that are only approved for emergency use, as coronavirus vaccines currently are. Department lawyers wrote that the law in question requires individuals be informed of their option to accept or refuse administration of an emergency use vaccine or drug. But that requirement still does not prohibit employers from mandating vaccination as a condition of employment. If you missed that part, rewind it, listen to it again. The language is very significant. The same reasoning applies to universities, school districts, or other entities potentially requiring COVID-19 vaccines. This is what the lawyer added. Available evidence overwhelmingly shows the vaccines are safe and they are effective. The Justice Department opinion followed earlier guidance from the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission that federal laws prohibiting discrimination in the workplace do not prevent an employer from requiring all employees physically entering the workplace to be vaccinated for COVID-19. Let me read that for you again. The Justice Department opinion followed earlier guidance from the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission that federal laws that prohibit discrimination in the workplace, those laws do not prevent an employer from requiring all employees physically entering the workplace to be vaccinated with this jab. The EEOC listed some cases in which employers must offer exemption. People who have a medical condition or religious reasons can be accommodated through alternative measures. Those can include getting tested weekly, wearing a mask while you are at work, in the building, in the office, or have you work remotely, meaning work away from your work site, work from home, that type of stuff. The Department of Veteran Affairs on Monday became the first major federal agency to require healthcare workers to get COVID-19 vaccine. Also on Monday, the state of California said that it will require millions of healthcare workers and state employees to show proof of a COVID-19 vaccination, or they will have to be tested weekly. And in the meantime, they'll be wearing masks as well and all that other stuff. The New York City will require, shout out to my New York people, listen up. New York City will require all of its municipal workers, including teachers and police officers, to get vaccinated by mid-September, or they will thereafter face weekly testing. That's what you're going to have to do to keep your employment with the state. Raising expectations. Biden said Tuesday that a vaccine requirement for all federal workers is under consideration right now. He promised to lay out the next steps for his administration stalled vaccination campaign later this week. The more we learn about this virus and the Delta variation is the more we have to be worried and concerned, the president said, adding that if another 100 million Americans were vaccinated, we'd be in a very different world today. The push of vaccines has been piecemeal in the corporate world. Delta and United Airlines are requiring new employees to show proof of vaccination. Goldman Sachs is requiring its employees to disclose their vaccination status, but is not requiring the staffers to be vaccinated at this time. Why else would they want you to show it? Michelle S., Strohero, an employment advisor and an attorney at McDermott, Will and Emery, said that there are costs for employers requiring vaccines. There's the administrative burden of tracking compliance and managing exemption requests. Claims of discrimination could also arise. But ultimately, the rise in the Delta variant and throughout cases in fully vaccinated people has served as extra motivation for employers to take a stronger stand on vaccination in general, she said. Employers are going to be looking towards vaccine mandates more and more. Is there any other alternative to these mandates? Yes, well, instead of requiring vaccines, some companies are trying to actually entice their workers by offering them stuff like cash bonuses, paid time off, and other rewards. Walmart, for example, is offering a $75 bonus for employees who provide proof that they were vaccinated. Amazon is giving workers an $80 bonus if they show proof of their vaccination, and new hires to the company gets $100 if they are vaccinated. May I add as well that Walmart, just published yesterday, has now been offering to pay college tuition, complete college tuition for their employees. Another incentive to go looking for a job at Walmart and then collect your bonus after you show proof of your vaccination. What are the options for employees if they don't want to take the vaccine? Well, most employers are likely to give workers some options if they don't want to take it. For example, New York City and California has imposed what's being called a soft mandate. In the soft mandate, workers who do not want to get vaccinated can get tested on a weekly basis instead. Now, I know that might throw a lot of people off because there are a lot of skeptics out there who are saying that if you keep getting tested, eventually you're going to come up as someone who has corona. And then when you do pop hot with that, then you're subject to, we're going to have to let you go, or you're going to have to go get treatment. Therefore, you won't be at work, etc., etc. They can take you through the treatment motions and whatever else. So some people are even staying away from getting tested. This should be helpful information for them, right? Let's not forget, New York City and California have imposed what's being called a soft mandate, where the workers who do not want to get vaccinated can get tested weekly instead. And of course, wear a mask while you're on the job all the time as well. If an employer does set a hard requirement, employees can ask for an exemption for medical or religious reasons. This is very important information for you to know. If employers does not set a hard requirement, then employees can ask for an exemption for medical or religious reasons. A hard requirement would be you either get it or you move out. That's hard. A soft requirement would be it is required for you to work here. However, we can work with you. So if you have religious issues or you have medical issues that would prevent you from getting it, then you could be exempt. Then, under EEOC civil rights rules, the employer must provide reasonable accommodation that does not pose an undue hardship on the operation of the employer's business. Let me say that again. The employer must provide reasonable accommodation that does not pose an undue hardship on the operation of the employer's business. Some alternatives could include wearing a mask at work, social distancing at work, working a modified shift at work, COVID-19 testing on a weekly basis, or the option to work remotely, work from home, or even offering reassignment. Now, another question. Will workplace mandates turn the tide on vaccine hesitancy? And they're saying that, well, that's too early to tell. But every employee that decides to mandate vaccine paves the way for other employers to feel safer doing so. In other words, if Walmart starts doing it and Kmart doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. But if Walmart starts doing it, then Aldi's grocery or another store might say, hey, Walmart does it. They're doing fine with it. All their employers are vaccinated or they're under some kind of a mandate. Those who are not, they're able to track who is and who isn't, etc. I think we should go with that model because it works as well. And they have no legal issues against their company. So we're going to go with that. And the more companies do it, the more companies will follow those that are already doing it. A recent legal decision may help move the needle because in June, a federal district court in Texas rejected an attempt by medical workers to challenge the legality of Houston Methodist Hospital's vaccine mandate. The court found such a requirement in line with public policy. Dorit Reese, a law professor who specializes in vaccine policies at the University of California Hastings College of Law, said that more businesses will have confidence that they can mandate the vaccine. She believes that most companies will go the route of a soft mandate with alternatives for their employees who remain reluctant. I think it's a reasonable option. Anderson reported from Nashville, Tennessee. And again, you can find this at msn.com. I share this information with you because I want you to be aware of what is happening so you are in the know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Has your employers started with a hard or soft mandate? Were you vaccinated just to keep your job? Or is it something that you wanted to do? However, your company is doing it or is not doing it. Let's have a conversation about this. All right. As it seems like in some places we're heading back into lockdown. I don't know how that's going to go. I went to the park today and the park was completely empty, which is strange because a week ago, before they started talking about the Delta variant, the park was pretty crowded here in Florida. So I'm seeing signs of possibly us going back into lockdown. However, I'll keep you posted on any other new information that comes out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video is uploaded to SouFLoTV. And I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.